Hello, everybody watching on YouTube. It's me, your neighborhood, your friendly neighborhood indie man. I'm Colin. Sorry, I look a bit disheveled at the moment. Is that a word? I guess it is a word. Because basically, I woke up about an hour ago, so I'm very tired, and my hair looks like it's frozen in carbonite. Like, what even is this? It's like some sort of house plant on my head. And now my phone's ringing, for God's sake. I bet it's my co-host or Heroes of Handheld, Chris Pearson. Let's have a listen, shall we? If it is, I'm going to put on loudspeaker. Hello, everybody watching on YouTube. It's me, your neighborhood. What the hell's going on? Oh, geez. Neighborhood indie man. That's awkward. Literally, I had two boxes up with the Google Hangout, so I was hearing myself back, which was a bit odd. Oh, is it Chris? No, I don't want to save. I want to listen to it again. I don't think it's Chris. Literally, as soon as because when to do a Google Hangout, you have to what's the word? You have to set it up, as it were, like, write what the title's going to be, blah blah blah. And as soon as I did that, and I went into standby mode, I get a call from Chris asking me, "Did you mean to invite me to a bloody Google Hangout?" Oh, he's so grumpy. He's so grumpy, Chris. I'm always the happy one. He's always the grumpy one. Anyway, yeah. Right. So this is the video version. Basically, I'm just going to be talking about games from E3, because E3 starts tomorrow, I believe. Exciting times. And it's a good thing because literally, because I'm in the UK, obviously, as you can hear by my accent, like the timings are a bit odd for me because I think we're 8 hours ahead of Los Angeles, where E3 is taking place, which in a way is good because that means it's in the afternoon, so it's better, more likelihood that we can watch them. Because for some reason, Microsoft's is like 9:30 in the morning. That's so early. Crazy. But yeah, so that's cool. So I will be able to. Annoyingly, like for us, the Sony one's at 2 a.m., which is the only one I'll probably miss, and it's the most important one for me and Heroes of Handheld, which is a bit annoying. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just going to talk about some games that are coming out on E3. They're not necessarily going to be indie games because I thought because it's E3, I might as well, just cover all bases and get talk about. I mean, there's a huge list. I'm looking at this massive list on the PlayStation blog here of games that are going to be on the show floor at E3, and there's a massive list. I mean, the majority of them are PS4 games, but there's about 29 Vita games in this list. I think it's 29. Well, I counted them. There's a lot. I mean, yeah, I'll get into that in a bit when I actually start the podcast. So yeah, people who are watching the video but not listening to the audio. People who are listening to the audio won't hear this bit because I've not started recording. That'll be interesting. I wonder what happened on my laptop if I record on Google Hangouts and then record through Audition. That will be interesting to see. We should try this. Right, I'm going to start recording in a minute. Right, I need to do my vocal practices. La la la. Oh no, wait, that's why Chris rang me earlier, about 10 minutes ago. It's because he was annoyed that I'm doing IndieCast now, because he wanted to do his latest Smashcast now. I mean, come on, he claimed it's been 2 weeks since he did Smashcast. I don't believe him. I don't believe him. He's a liar. He's a liar. Right, okay. I'm going to start the actual podcast now, so this is probably going to be the worst one. I'm hoping to get it under 20 minutes, but God knows what's going to happen, to be honest with you. Right, let's get record here. Right, here we go. So 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to episode 14 of IndieCast, the world's hopefully, probably only podcast dedicated to everything indie on the PlayStation Vita, because as you know, Sony loves indies, and the PS Vita loves you. Good times, everybody. Now, before I get into the meat and veg of the podcast this week, just a few bits of housekeeping. Firstly, I apologise. It's been quite a while since I did the last IndieCast. I've no real excuse. The main excuse is because I've been busy. Really, that's pretty much it. Because, I mean, unfortunately, it would be in an ideal world, I would be doing these podcasts and getting, paid millions of pounds to do them, or millions of dollars. But unfortunately, that is not the case. And yeah, I have to do it off my own back. But I love doing the podcast. But I finally got some free time now, and yeah. So it's all good. And this week I'm going to be discussing everything E3 because the day I'm recording, which is the 8th of June, it's the Sunday, E3 is under 24 hours away, which is very exciting. And before we get into the games I wanted to talk about, which are coming to the PlayStation Vita, I just wanted to quickly mention, for those who listen to the main Heroes of Handheld podcast, at the end of episode 50 last week, me and Chris made some predictions for what we thought would be announced at E3. He did Nintendo and Nintendo 3DS, and I did Sony and the PlayStation Vita. And one of my predictions was that the game Don't Starve would be announced for the PlayStation Vita. Well, it was already announced, but an actual release date would be announced. I mean, but it hasn't. I'm a bit confusing, really. It wasn't announced, but it was. Like, the creator said he wanted to make it for the PlayStation Vita back in January, but it went a bit quiet. But this news story surfaced 2 days ago, and guess what, people? Don't Starve Giant Edition is heading to the PS Vita, so my prediction was correct. Woo! I literally can't believe this. Literally about 2-3 days after we recorded the podcast. Awesome. So Don't Starve Giant Edition, which includes the original game and its Reigns of Giant expansion, is coming to PlayStation Vita. Cly Entertainment community manager Corey Rollins announced via the PlayStation blog. The Vita edition of Don't Starve will include touch-based navigation the Vita edition of Don't Starve will include touch-based navigation as per the handheld's capabilities. Players will get access to all updates currently available for the PC and PS4 versions, such as Adventure Mode and the multi-leveled caves. The Reign of Giants expansion also adds 2 new characters to the game's selection for a total of 11. That's not written very well. The Reign of Giants expansion also adds 2 new characters to. So the game selection. Okay, adds 2 new characters. Okay. As well as seasonal challenges. A release date for the game has not yet been set. Cly also promised an update on its Reigns of Giants expansion for PS4 soon. This is so cool. I literally predicted this a few days ago, and it's been announced. I'm so happy. And I'm really excited about this. I've never played it. I know it was on the PC, I believe, and it was massive. Basically, it's like a survival 2D, 2.5D sort of game. It's really cool cartoony animations, but it's quite a dark thing. A dark story, because basically I think the whole point of the game obviously is not to starve. You've got to find food, you've got to find wood. Like, you're in the forest and there's all these evil creatures trying to eat you probably, and you've got to make fire to stop them from eating you and stuff. So I'm excited about this. I've wanted to play this for a while, and ever since I saw the original gameplay footage of Don't Starve, I knew that it was going to be perfect for the Vita, and I'm glad it's finally coming. So I look forward to that, and it's going to be the Giant Edition, so that's always good. Right, what else do I want to talk about before we get into the meat and veg? Oh, yes. It's been a while since I did the last IndieCast, and for those of you who follow us on Twitter, Handheld Podcast, if you want to follow us, that's Handheld Podcast. Or you follow us on YouTube. Obviously, our YouTube account's Heroes of Handheld, no spaces. I uploaded a video review, our first ever video review, a couple of weeks ago, and it was for Sparkle 2, which is the latest indie game from 10 Tons Ltd. I won't spoil the rating I gave it, but yeah, it was a fun game. So if you want to see my full opinions of Sparkle 2 for the Vita, head over to our YouTube page or head to heroesofhandheld.com, and there should be a little link there so you can get straight to our YouTube page. So that's exciting. Right, last thing I just wanted to briefly mention. This isn't really, well, it's nothing to do with indie games, to be honest with you, but I wanted to mention it anyway. I've been playing Borderlands 2 on my Vita for the past week or so. I got it for about 12 quid from my local game shop. That was after I traded in Rayman Origins for 11 quid, so I got £11 off. So yeah, I've been playing it. I've never played Borderlands before, and I'm really enjoying it. It really is a different experience to what I'm used to on the Vita. More games like this on Vita, please. The only negative I would say so far is you can tell that at some points the Vita struggles under the weight of the game. It's such a big, vast, rich game, and sometimes there are little, issues where the gameplay slows down. Like when there's a lot of enemies on screen, it can lag a little bit. But apart from that, it's been pretty good. And also, annoying thing, because basically they use the 2 sides of the back touchpad on the PlayStation Vita. I think the right side is to melee attack, and the left side is to sprint. And the amount of times, because you're holding the Vita, and I've got the original Vita, not the Vita Slim, so the little holding bits on the back of the Vita are quite small. The amount of times I've accidentally meleeed without meaning to. It's not a big deal really, but a bit annoying. But yeah, I'm really enjoying Borderlands 2. I can't help but think that, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I probably would have rated it even higher if I played it on the console versions. But it was a very ambitious game to put on the Vita in the first place, and I'm so glad they've done it. I mean, I think I saw somewhere that it's at the moment. I'll just do some research whilst I'm on air because that's really professional of me. I think I saw somewhere that the PlayStation Vita version of Borderlands 2 is now top of the Vita UK charts, as in the games sold for the Vita. Yeah, Borderlands 2 is at the top, which is cool. In the UK, which is also awesome because it came out in the UK a bit later than it did in America. So that's always good to hear. So people are excited. I got distracted there, sorry, by a news article. It said the article, you search on Google, and the article read Borderlands 2 is the biggest launch of the year in the new UK chart. Then I looked down, and it was the 24th of September 2012. Awkward. Anyway, right, let's move on to the meat and veg. I keep saying meat and veg. If I hadn't already given this podcast a title, it would be called IndieCast 14 Meat and Veg. Seriously. Right, let's move on to E3. Now, E3 starts officially tomorrow, I believe, in Los Angeles. If you don't know, you've probably been living under a rock. But E3 is one of the biggest, is the biggest gaming conference of the year. Everyone looks forward to it. Last year it was when there was big conferences from Sony and Microsoft discussing their new next-gen consoles, when Sony completely destroyed Microsoft, blew them out the water by saying that you don't need to be online all the time, you can trade in games and stuff like that. But basically, before we get into the games, I keep saying before we get into the games, I'm going to get to the games eventually, I promise. I wanted to talk about the timings for the conferences. I mean, what people look for at E3 is the conferences from the big companies, so Microsoft, EA, Ubisoft, Sony, and of course there's a Nintendo digital event as well. Well, a user on Reddit, his name is stoned_sloth, cool name. He's made I don't know if he's made it, but he has uploaded a cool table which tells you what times the conferences are, and depending where you are in the world, what time it will be for you. And obviously, I'm based in London, which is BST, British Summertime, and I think the American time at Los Angeles is PDT, Pacific Southern Time, something like that. And I'm really happy looking at these times here. Microsoft are kicking things off on Monday the 9th at 9:30 in the morning, which is at 5:30 in the afternoon for us, so that's awesome. I'll definitely be watching that. As much as people hate on Microsoft, here's the thing. I am still a big Microsoft fan because I still own an Xbox 360. I still have hope for Microsoft. I'm hoping, well, as you know, the Xbox One is now the console it should have been when it launched. They backtracked on pretty much everything, and it's all for the best in my opinion. And I'm hoping for big things at their conference. I don't know what they're going to be, but it will probably be something along the lines of Halo 10 and Gears of War 5, which is always good because I love Gears of War, and Halo's always good. So, okay, Sarah. So that's at 9:30 Los Angeles time, and also at 5:30 London time. Looking at the other times here, across America, PDT it's 10:30, CDT in Chicago 11:30, EDT in New York 12:30. You probably all know this already, but I'm just for anyone who lives in the UK and doesn't know, this is very, very useful. And E3's conference, which is EA's conference, it starts at midday in Los Angeles and will be at 8 p.m. our time. So we are 8 hours ahead of them. So that sort of works out quite well. Ubisoft's will be at 11 p.m. tomorrow. Actually, no, 11 p.m. on Tuesday the 10th. Is that right? Oh, no, sorry, this graph's a bit confusing. Basically, what it's done, it's got 3 different colours telling you what the days are. Like the red is Monday, blue is Tuesday, and green is Wednesday. And I was like, hold on, that's gone over into Tuesday, but it's not. It's still in red. It's still Monday. Right. So yeah, Ubisoft is going to be at 11 p.m. our time, which is 3 p.m. Los Angeles time. Sony's, annoyingly, probably the one that everyone's looking forward to, and I'm looking forward to because it's potentially Vita stuff. Theirs starts at 6 p.m. in Los Angeles, which is annoyingly 2 a.m. our time. So that's probably the one I'm going to miss. I might be able to watch the opening 10 minutes or so, but I remember last year they were like half an hour late, I think, which is annoying. And for those of you interested in the Nintendo digital event, I know Chris will be because he loves his Nintendo products. They are at 9 a.m. on Tuesday the 10th in Los Angeles, which is at 5 p.m. on Tuesday in the UK. So there's a brief overview of the times. I'm looking forward to EA hopefully revealing Mass Effect 4, or at least a teaser. I saw somewhere that it was potentially leaked that the new Mass Effect is going to be called Rayman Origins. Rayman Origins? That'd be so cool. Mass Effect Rayman Origins, basically like Rayman's the commander of the ship. That'd be so cool. No, the reason I got confused is because it was leaked that the new Rayman. Oh my god, I said it again. The new Mass Effect is going to be called Mass Effect Origins. Okay, you see why I got confused. So that gives the impression that it'll be before the time of Shepard, but also there's rumors that's going to be the beginning of a new trilogy. So that's exciting. But that's got nothing to do with handheld gaming. So let's move on to handheld gaming, shall we? So there's a handy list on the Sony PlayStation blog, which gives a list of all the games that are going to be available to play on the shop floor. The show floor at E3. Let me just load up the article here. There's a lot of games. So basically, reading this article here on the Sony blog, but continuing their annual tradition, PlayStation will live stream the full PlayStation E3 2014 press conference on Monday, June the 9th at 6 p.m. Pacific, which is 2 a.m. UK time, beginning with a quick pre-show 15 minutes prior. You'll be able to watch it on the PlayStation blog. So if you want to watch the live stream, go to the PlayStation blog and you can watch it on the day. But then starting Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific / 3 p.m. Eastern, which is about 8 p.m. our time, they'll be serving up a 3-day live cast of live game demos, developer interviews, and new game trailers. So that's all really exciting. So there's going to be a lot of video content coming out of E3, not just the news conference. And they've got a massive list of games that are going to be on show at the Sony PlayStation E3 booth. And there's a lot of indie games mixed in here. It's really exciting. I mean, there's a long list here. I'm not going to have time to talk about them all. But I've picked out the 3 games which are not necessarily indie games, but because it's E3, I'm going to break traditions and talk about games that aren't necessarily indie games. I've got the 4 games that I'm most excited about, and the first one I wanted to bring up is Counter Spy. Now, it seems like I'm having the same conversation I had last year about Counter Spy. It was originally announced, I think, March 2013, or May 2013, and it was showcased at E3 last year, and it looks really cool. I watched the gameplay video, it looks really good, but it's all gone very, very quiet on the Counter Spy front until March the 13th this year on the PlayStation blog, when it was announced that now it's going to be coming to the PlayStation 4 as well. So obviously they've had to add in new code and make it look a bit more pretty. So it's going to be coming to the PS4, PS3, and PlayStation Vita. And Counter Spy is basically an espionage style, really cool animation looking, like sort of polygon looking at the characters, but a bit more crisper and nicer looking than, say, Spyro the Dragon or Crash Bandicoot or any of those games, or Tomb Raider, the original Tomb Raiders. And it looks like you have to basically hack stuff, stealthily kill people. It looks really cool. It's like a 2.5D style adventure. And I've been excited for this for a long time. So this is definitely going to be a game I'm going to be playing and buying as soon as it comes out. Still no release date, annoyingly. I think they're hoping for the summer, so any time now really. But that's going to be available to play on the E3 show floor on the Sony and PlayStation booth. So that's exciting. So I hope to see some reviews for that flying out. So right, other games that are coming out. Now, this one really interested me. I heard about this on a rival podcast recently. Yes, there are other gaming podcasts out there. And it's called Big Fest. And I hadn't even heard of this game. It was originally announced back in May, I believe, or March. It might have been last year, actually. Oh no, it was August last year. Bloody hell, it was a long time ago. Basically, it's like a Sim sort of game, like a Sim City sort of game. But instead of creating a city or creating like a house and family, you're creating a festival. And the company who are making this are a company called On The Metal, which is based in Sheffield in the UK, which is in England, which is always very exciting. And just to get a better idea of what this game is, the game's essence is your music your way. You browse and select music from a large online music catalog, which will be regularly updated. The music you choose is more than the soundtrack to your game, though. You'll be promoting your bands, taking them from unknowns and making them superstars, giving them the tools to do their job, and sharing your efforts for them with your friends, who will have an influence on how well you do. And the game will be using real bands, so along with having lots of fun, the game will be breaking real bands in the real world. Now, this just looks really cool. There's some more details on how it all works, but basically just think of The Sims and making a festival. And there's a video here, gameplay video, which I'm going to upload to the blog, the article for this the article for this episode of IndieCast. There's no release date at the moment, I don't think, but that's going to be available to play on the store as well. On the store, it's going to be available to play on the shop floor. I'm sorry, shop floor, show floor. I'm losing it. I'm sorry, I'm very tired. Please don't hate me. I'm so tired. So E3. So if you're at E3, I mean, look out for Big Fest as well. Right, so 2 more games. Oh, no, I've got 3 more games, actually, I wanted to talk about. Firstly is a game from the creators of Frobisher Says, which was that free game that was on the Vita. Like, everyone downloaded it when they first got the Vita because it was free, and it showed off all the Vita's fancy touchscreen controls and stuff like that. I love Frobisher Says. I haven't played it in ages, though. I really need to get back into that. I'm trying to think of some quotes from it. Oh, scratch my back, or I'll find the flange. Flange found. Oh, I loved it. The same company, which is Honey Slug, have revealed a game called Super Exploding Zoo, and it's heading to the PS4 and Vita. So this game, there are 80 levels. It says, let's see if we can find a description of it. It's due in 2014 at some point. It has players apparently using touch controls to pen animals, which can be made to explode in order to repel marauding aliens. Different animals have different skills, as for example the crocodile, which can build bridges. There are 80 levels which are fully destructible and an endless mode of randomly generated levels. There are also a variety of versus multiplayer modes which will support crossplay. Now this looks fantastic. Now if it's anything like Frobisher Says, this is going to be batshit crazy, because Frobisher Says is crazy. I'm looking at some pictures. It looks it's a bit like Happy Tree Friends, that show that was on the internet, that was on TV for a bit as well. Basically, where it's cuddly animals, but then they get brutally murdered because these animals look so cuddly, but you can make them explode. But yeah, you can definitely tell this is from the Frobisher Says developer. It looks the animation style is very similar to Frobisher Says. So looking forward to that. That's also going to be on the show floor at E3 at the PlayStation booth. That's Super Exploding Zoo. All very exciting. Right, 2 more games. Firstly, Fly Hunter Origins. This one looked pretty cool. Looking at a screenshot of it, you look like you're a little bug. You look like one of those worms from the Worms games, you know? And Fly Hunter Origins is being created by Stillwall Games, who are an Academy Award-winning team of amazingly talented animation professionals. Basically, you play as a character called Zack, a bumbling alien spaceship janitor, and a wannabe fly hunter. Zack is a Zersk, one of 3 alien species from Borgorel 3. He works on board the Fly Hunter's crew's legendary spaceship, the Frog, but deep down he longs for an exciting adventure of his own. That's all there is to it at the moment. It's saying it's coming summer 2014. This is also going to be available on the E3 PlayStation booth. Fly Hunter Origins. There's a lot of Origins this week, isn't there? So that's exciting. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it looks a bit meh at the moment. I'll wait and see. Wait for more videos and more stuff like that. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by looking at these pictures. It does look very pretty. Anyway, right, so the last game I wanted to talk about quickly before I wrap up, because I'm running long, it's almost 20 minutes, is a JRPG. JRPG thumbs up. Obviously, this isn't an indie game, but because, JRPGs are always big news in the Vita landscape. Like, looking on the Reddit page, if you don't use Reddit, go to reddit.com and search PS Vita. The Vita page is full of people looking forward to JRPGs, and this game is going to be from Xseed's Game, and they're going to release this action RPG titled Akiba's Trip Undead and Undressed. Well, I'll see where this is going. It's coming to PS3 and Vita this summer. It's making its way from Japan, obviously. It was originally released in Japan as Akiba's Trip 2. Akiba's Trap Undead and Undressed tells the story of Nanashi, a man lured into a trap and transformed into one of the walking undead. I'm suddenly getting a bit more excited because I like Walking Dead. As Nanashi and his clan of Akiba freedom fighters, players must identify and expose synthesizers, vampire-like characters camouflaged as humans who want to feed from humans in a realistically rendered version of Tokyo's Arakawa district. Enemies clobbered by your baseball bats and other found weapons have clothes to reclaim and wear whilst exploring. This sounds interesting. It sounds a lot different to other JRPGs, so I will definitely be checking this out. There's a video here. I'm just going to watch it quickly, or not, because my browser stopped working. So that's exciting. But I will put the video gameplay for this in the in the handy-dandy blog for this episode, the article for this episode. Right, that's about pretty much it for this week. So that's a quick overview of games that are coming to E3. But before I go for the PlayStation Vita, I'm just going to read out the full list of games coming to the Vita that I didn't mention. So, as I said, we have Big Fest and the Keeper's Trip Undead and Undressed. We also have Counter Spy, which I mentioned. We have Romper 2. Now, this sounds like I think I've heard this name bandied about, so people are going to probably get annoyed that I've messed up saying it. But that's coming to Vita, so that's exciting. Disgaea 4, that's coming to Vita. Don't Starve, as I said, coming to Vita, which I'm excited about. Fly Hunter Origins. Freedom Wars is coming as well. I think we mentioned that on last week's podcast. Gravity Crash Ultra, that's coming to Vita. Hansu Miku Project Diva F Second, we've mentioned this on the podcast, that's coming to Vita. Gunship X coming. We have Hyper Light Drifter, Invisimals The Alliance. These are all games that are going to be on the show floor at E3, so hopefully we'll hear more about them after E3. We have Legend of Raven, Mech Runner, which was I think that was the indie game that was funded via Kickstarter, so I'm excited to see how that looks. Metrico, that's coming to Vita. ML Major League Baseball 14, the show, which is already out, so I'm not sure why that's going to E3. Oh no, that's a bit for game. Murasaki Baby coming to Vita. One Way Trip, PS Vita Pets, which is getting really good reviews. I actually want to pick up Vita Pets. Once I finish Borderlands 2, I may pick it up. Pixel Junk Shooter Ultimate, Race the Sun, which I spoke about a few weeks ago, Reaper, Rogue Legacy, Super Exploding Zoo, which I mentioned, Switch Galaxy Ultra. The list is just endless. And the last one, I say endless and I get to the last one. And the last one is called Two Leaves. So they're all games that are coming to the Vita. So hopefully we'll get some more information on more exciting indie titles when we get past the E3 Sony conference, which is at 2 a.m. on Tuesday or 5 p.m. on Monday. So all exciting, people. Some great games to look forward to. There's never been a better time to own a Vita. It's just fantastic. I remember back when I bought my Vita 2 years ago, and I'm not going to lie, I didn't touch it very much. That sounds a bit dodgy saying that, but I didn't touch my Vita very much. And now I'm literally on my Vita constantly. I'm on it more than my Xbox 360, and that is saying something, because my 360 always was my console and gaming platform of choice. And it sort of says something that I haven't even turned on my 2DS in like 2 months. Awkward. Right, so thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for watching on the Google Plus. If you've been watching on Google Plus, which is obviously going to go straight to our YouTube page, so look out for that on our YouTube page. You can find us online, heroesofhandheld.com. We're on Twitter @handheldpodcast. You can email us, heroesofhandheld@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback and your opinions from E3, or what you're looking forward to most from E3. We will be back with a very special Heroes of Handheld main show on Wednesday. I won't spoil anything now, but more details will be released in due course, I guess. So exciting. I'm off to play some more Borderlands 2. Oh, don't forget to search us on iTunes, search Heroes of Handheld, and why not rate us on iTunes? We'd really love that. It'd really help us out as well, guys. Really appreciate that. Thank you for listening, everybody. I will talk to you on Wednesday for Heroes of Handheld. Bye-bye. Right, so people watching on the video, I've just finished recording IndieCast. Hopefully it didn't sound too crap, because I was very tired and I kept saying stuff. But thank you for watching or listening, whatever you did. And here's my Vita. I'm just going to show you. Oh, I need to show you the cool Vita background I've got now. It's so cool. Literally, I found it. There's loads of websites that do Vita backgrounds, but look at that. Yeah, Spider-Man, this web. Awesome. I love it. I've got 5 notifications. What's going on? I have new messages. What's going on? See, this is the problem when you turn off notification alerts on your Vita. You just don't know when people are online, or when you've got new messages. Anyway, back to Borderlands 2. So, yeah, I've just beaten Captain Flint, I think it was, and it was bloody difficult. I died about 5 times, I think. Ugh. You know when you die, because I'm playing on my own on it, and when you die, you have to kill someone to get revived. So frustrating, but I'm loving it. Anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you next week. Bye. Bye-bye.